Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we're jumping back into our game with Late Age Mictlan. It is turn 36, and we are getting close to the end of this rather short game, and that the Cataclysm is coming at turn 40, and so that gives us 4 turns left, and everybody is making their final preparations to see if they can win. So, if you recall the end of last episode, we were talking about our throne strategy, how we might get enough thrones to claim a victory, and then we also were looking to break through Ulm's fort. We have finally broken through. He had a tremendous number of people with Fort Guardian inside his cap, so it made it very difficult for us to break through. We had a ton of guys, and we had a battle scripted, so let's see what happens. First, we'll go through the diplomacy. A message has arrived from Pythium. Mictlan, our scouts made us aware that Satis's potential to rush thrones a few turns ago, and we've put ourselves in a situation to stop him. We are still worried about Satis's expansion to the north. He has devoured most of Pangaea and has gotten himself dangerously close to the other thrones to claim. We'll look to monitor the situation and interfere more if need be. So Pythium has said basically he's going to look to block a Satisian throne rush, and Satis does look pretty big and pretty close to a fair number of thrones, but Pythium has at least the throne of the Pantocrator himself, which is the only level 3 throne. So that gives him a lot of the points he's going to need to win. Okay, a message from Man. Greetings, Mictlan. Satis just claimed his unclaimed level 2 throne in the water, snatched up from under him by Pythium with no hope of wresting it back. That puts Pythium in control of 5 ascension points and in the lead. Okay, so Man is doing some good calculations on who's getting close to winning. If Satis tries for the other water throne, they will just be paving the way for the Giants of Utgard to claim it. We assumed the giant army was heading eastward to claim the throne of Griffinspires, but our spies lost sight of them this month. They and Pythium are looming as the great threats. Okay. A message from Utgard. Bloodman, as we thinks, Utgard and Man tries to lure Midgard into... Oh god, these messages are getting hard to read. Into 1 month's respite by talking peace, but it's a complete lie. He still aims at raiding Utgard after... let's just see if I can tell you what the gist of this is as you read it. I think he's just fighting Man and Utgard. And I think that's basically all that's happening. But I could be misreading it. And then a message from Utgard. I suppose the island situation is a moot point now, given the little time left in the game. Regarding Satis, I boarded the throne he took from Pangaea, and if he grabs the underwater thrones between us, I can probably take a play there too. Also, I see no signs that he is preparing to take the underwater throne. His main armies are all busy up in Pangaea, so I think I have a handle on it for now. Pythium has jumped into the fray and is sieging a Satisian fort that I see. I hear he took another throne from Satis, the underwater one. I'm confused on this point. Maybe my info was bad. With 3 throne points already under his control, Pythium is gaining any other throne. Pythium gaining any other throne is very dangerous for Cataclysm time. By the way, do Horrors preferentially attack bigger thrones first? Okay, we'll respond in Diplo at the end of the turn, so you'll have to kind of remember all of this. So for now, what's happened? We see our blood economy is going fine. We found a magic site, Druid's Grave. That's just, I think, a Nature 1 site. And, okay, coming down here, we see a bunch of assassination attempts. Now, this is not good. Let's see what's happening here. So we're being assassinated in Ulm by vampires. So he must have put black hearts on these guys, which is a pretty smart move. Yeah. Crap. So not many people can survive a Horde of Skeleton summoning assassination, which is basically what these are. Yeah, that's not good. That is not good. So that's one guy down. And I think he was leading troops. I'm not sure what kind. Okay, who is this? We've got a turkey with nature gems, so hopefully he'll swarm. He can potentially win this. Nope, not by casting that. Okay. great assassination AI, as always. It would be nice if certain spells were known to be good if you're the victim of an assassination attempt. That would at least... It would be nice if there were some good anti-assassination AI, because right now you basically are just going to lose. And it still might not be quite as good as the assassin who actually gets to do, he gets to script, so you know exactly what he's going to do, and he can do whatever you think is best for the situation. But it's just so garbage when you get assassinated. Like, you can't do hardly anything. Except have items that summon units. Rings of Warning are something we could do potentially. Oh, shit. So this is Chris Lighthawk. He is the guy we do not want to die, because he's going to be casting... I mean, we've empowered him, so that's 50 air gems. He has all this stuff to do Fog Warriors. It's going to be bad news if he dies. Fortunately, he came in with 2 Jaguars, who hopefully we're going to bless. Okay, so they're blessed. Okay, or Ghost Wolves, that's not a horrible thing. Oh, and they run? Oh, what? How the hell do they run? They're not even in range of his Fear Aura. No, he didn't even have Fear. How do they run? How do they freaking run? How do we fail a morale check? They're morale 15. Like, that's high morale. They hardly have any damage. I don't know if it's because this guy got damaged. No. Like, how do they run? Such garbage. Yeah, if they didn't run, we totally would have won this. Now, I had bodyguards on these guys, because I was thinking, okay, maybe I get Infernal Diseased. I didn't really think about Blackheart Assassins, but he's going to die, and that's going to be a problem. Okay, he runs. God damn it. And I put a ton of gear on him, too, to prevent dumb stuff from this, like, from happening. Of course, he didn't use any of the air gems he had, or the nature gems, to do Swarm or something like that. He could have done that. That also would have saved him. But, like, best script for him would have been Divine Blessing and then Swarm, and then that would have been over. So, that's not good. Now, the problem now is that assassinations often cause a bad chain reaction. So I lost a fair amount of dudes, and I lost my most important mage. So this fight in Ulm, which we're going to skip to and watch, may go very, very, very badly. Because it could be, okay, we at least still have a lot of troops. Inside, he has a fair amount of troops too, but mine are better than his. So, let's see what happens. Okay, we get Mass Protection off, we get Bloodlust off. So, our protection's pretty decent for our Jags. We've got Bloodlust, so our strength is pretty good. And then coming over here... Oh, how do we get Darkness? Did I cast Darkness? I don't think I have Death Magic. He cast Darkness. Why would he cast Darkness? It's really bad for all his human troops. That's a really weird spell for him to cast. Because the only thing it's going to benefit are my Ocelotls, which, okay, I don't have any, so it doesn't really do much. I guess if I have imps that are getting summoned, I don't know. I guess it's good for the vampires. So I would have been coming in with more troops, but I think they killed... We'll have to find out. I think they killed a fair amount of my troops. I mean, I think one of the commanders they killed had a fair amount of troops on him. But they... I'm not sure. So it's pretty dicey right now. My birds are kind of all dying. If we look back here, they're still very killy. We've killed a ton of this stuff. A lot of his guys are routing. But the Jaguars are going to be kind of where the money is. Okay, here's some Ocelotls. They're doing good things. Okay, we've got Ocelotls around this vampire. He's probably not going to survive the turn. And then... oh, my guys are flying up, which could mean they're retreating. Are these guys broken? Yeah, they're broken, so they're running away. It's kind of annoying. The Aussies aren't broken, though. And this is his god, of course, so we're gonna have to kill that. It'll be a little tricky. Hand of Death, ow. And we have luck, so things like Hand of Death are gonna be much less likely to kill us than, you know, they otherwise might be. Okay, we have managed to kill his god. And there's a bunch of vampires here with Soul Vortex, so they'll be a little tricky. Let's see if they have gear. Okay, this guy has a eye shield, which actually is annoying. This guy's a vine shield, so these two are going to be hard. This guy also has... so these guys all have gear. They're going to actually be a little tricky to kill. We should be able to do it if we have enough Sacreds, like if we surround them. I'm not sure if we do, though. He still has a little crossbow contingent firing into me, and we will notice that damage. Okay, we got one of them. Now the problem is these two are both in one square, so they're gonna be... I don't know. Okay, it looks like we're running. Almost had it. Almost had it. I mean, obviously, it goes without saying, if Chris Lighthawk, if his bodyguards didn't immediately run away, even though there's no reason they should have, if he had better spellcasting AI, or if, given there were like 15 commanders in the province, if he wasn't the one that was targeted for an assassination, if like one of 100 different things didn't happen, we would have won this. But as you can see, it went basically perfectly wrongly. And despite that, we still basically almost won. So the lesson learned here is not we shouldn't have attacked the fort. Nor should we have, like, not attacked Ulm. Ulm is such cancer in this game. They really are. I love playing them. So, if we look at the final battle report, we lost a ton of stuff. We lost all of our Ocelotls, we lost almost all of our Jaguars, and we lost most of our Eagle Warriors. A lot of this was at the end, but a fair amount was through the beginning. But Ulm lost way more. We lost 133 units, he lost 470. Some of these were like super chaff, so Thralls and Wolves, they don't really count. But a lot of these were Ghoul Guardians, which are good. And then what else do we have? I mean, a lot of these were mages, to be honest, right? So, anyway, not a bad trade for me, though I definitely wanted to get him out of the game and take his capital, and that way when vampires die, they won't respawn. But the end of the game is closing in, so I might actually have to give up on Ulm's capital. Trying to bring another army back on top of this, even though there's no guys in here, is going to be really tricky, because he can just assassinate all my commanders, so I need to bring in like a ton of scouts, and I have other things to do before the game ends. So we may just leave Ulm's fort. Okay, we got attacked by some pirates. Some frisky pirates. Let's see how that goes. It's a lot of pirates, though. Oh, but we have Jaguars. Yeah, Jaguars are a lot better units than pirates. Okay. So, let's go through the rest of this. There's a battle here with Midgard and Man. Midgard has a big army, Man just has PD. Is this the pirate battle? No. Kill some barbarian chiefs. Ulm and Midgard. I mean, Utgard and Midgard. Not much of a battle. Okay, and so that's it for battle. So we get to talk for a fair amount about what we're going to do. We'll do diplomacy first, and we'll do outgoing or final moves and stuff at the end. Okay, so a message to Ulm. Foul and treacherous creatures of Ulm. You have all but been destroyed, your god crushed, your army slaughtered. We should not have been so surprised by the assassins from a race of such low ethical standards. We would offer you vassalage, but we will enjoy destroying what is left of you, if the game clock allows. Full measure, God of the Sun. And then to Satis, No idea where that army is going, but if it's headed for my throne, just know that I'm preparing. So that is referring to this army, which is kind of big and scary. So Cetician armies can jump across rivers, so he could potentially like skip his war with Pangaea and come down and attack me, which is not something I would be terribly tickled about. And then to Man, I say, thank you for your perceptive thoughts on the situation at large. I'm not sure if we can intervene at all with Cetis. Perhaps we can do a long trek against Pythium if the game doesn't end too close to turn 40. But that would be a rather dire choice. We will prepare to think on it. We have exacted full revenge on Ulm, as all his armies and god have been destroyed, so the tribal council might look towards other endeavors. Meaning we'll do something else aside from attacking Man. I mean from Ulm. Okay, so let's take a look at the board. So my army on top of Ulm has been crushed, which is unfortunate, but fortunately we didn't... That's the other thing. If I brought a few more troops, it probably would have been good. I did move a fair amount of guys off. And having more guys, I would have won and then had Ulm's cap. But I wasn't really planning on the assassination event. A ton of things had to go wrong for that to happen. And then you never know. There could have been... there could have been some battlefield wipe. A lot of times you get diminishing returns on just bringing increasingly larger and larger armies. So, but anyway, so we still have a fair amount of troops. We're trying to siege this down. I'm going to be moving in a ton more stuff so that hopefully we crack it this following turn. And then we can storm it. And then up here, we are getting some more troops in as well, so we can hopefully crack through this. Holding this fort is going to open... Ideally, these armies over here all kill each other, and then after turn 40, I can potentially come in and take this. This is not going to be like a near-term objective, though, but it might be the throne that would give me a throne victory. A play I'm probably going to have to do, especially if Pythium is himself going to have a lot of thrones. I think they were saying he's making a play up this way towards Cetis' throne, but I'm not sure. But a play I'm going to have to consider is how I'm going to take that. And looking at it right now, it's just Cataphracts and Hydras. So these guys are kind of slow underwater. They're kind of good, but they're kind of a little crappy. My plan is going to be that, fortunately, I didn't lose... Where the hell are they? I didn't lose any of my Rain Kings, neither Satano or Blokes. So, if we load these guys up, we're going to take this fort, hopefully next turn. We'll load these guys up with water gems, and then we can run in here and just do water power and spam out water elementals. And we should be able to kill kind of an arbitrarily large group of these guys. We won't have any troops as support, so it's going to be a little finicky. And we could die, so I'll have to test it. But I think... And I have no idea how much PD he's going to have. But hopefully I catch him off guard. We'll find out. So, anyway. That's going to be my only shot at taking Pythium's throne. Is just using these two guys to summon water elementals. And, yeah, that's basically it. We're going to set up here. Also, I had told Utgard last turn, and I think I mentioned it in the episode, but if I didn't, sorry, but I told him last turn that we are going to be going to war, or I'm ending my nap. I made it look as if I was ending my nap with everybody, but really I'm just ending my nap with him. And... I would have ended my nap. I don't even have naps with anybody except Midgard. And I did think about ending my nap with Midgard, but I don't have a nap with Pythium, I don't have a nap with Pangaea. The only one I have a nap with is Midgard, and there's too much action going up on here for this to be my prime target, so I'm not really ending my... Well, I have a nap with Man, but there's no reason for for Man and I to fight. He doesn't really have any thrones for me. So, anyway, I'm preparing now to attack him. And that is the other big thing for this turn. So, I don't know why this guy's casting Wooden Warriors. Okay, I don't have this army scripted, which is kind of a mistake, but they're not really ready. We're just moving them into position. I don't have any of my formation stuff really done. Some of these guys aren't holding attack. Some of these guys are probably on attack. Yeah. Well, no, I guess some of it's done. Like, these guys are on attack, so they're going to jump in. None of this is scripted right. Now, one other thing. For our water elemental plan to actually get pulled off, we need to get Conjuration 5. and then hopefully everything will work. It's going to be 2 turns away, though. So we'll get this, we'll storm it, then we'll have Conjuration 5, then we can come over and potentially attack these guys. So everything is kind of just barely finishing in the nick of time. Now, if we look at it, right, we've got this throne and this throne, which are our only thrones. That's 2 throne points. This one is probably a 1 throne point, so that will give us 3. This one is a 1 throne point, so that will give us 4. This one may be a 2, so that would give us 6. Now, there's no real way we can get to 7, but if we get 6, which will mean warring 3 different nations, then I'd be pretty happy just trying to hold on to that for the end of the game. Potentially I could get this and that would be 7, but that's not super likely. So that's kind of the plan. We're going to get as close to 6 as we can and just hold on for dear life. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in particular. I think I'm doing a Death and Power here too. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe I do that next turn? I thought I did it this turn. Oh. I think I Death Empowered this guy. So he's going to be reviving kings. I'm going to need Mound Kings to move all of my Ocelotls around. So anyway, we're getting some of these for final kind of logistics, because I need to be able to get... Basically, the problem is you can't put... These guys do not have high demon leadership. So it's actually worth taking a little bit of undead leadership in your Bless. Anyway, I didn't, so we'll just use Mound Kings. The problem is you don't really have great death access until you get higher in blood for Mictlan, so we'll have to wait. But anyway, big army moving in to fight Utgard. It will definitely be able to kill this army, which is Utgard's. This army would die in like 3 rounds to mine, even though he thinks it's all big and scary. It's not. He does seem to be set up in... It looks like this is set up for a Turbo Communion, but there's not many Turbo Communion mages, so actually I'm not sure. Okay, and I think that's it. So we've been through everything. Oh, I guess we'll talk about one other thing. For throne defense strategy, so how am I going to defend these? Well, with Sacred Sum, I also want to have some elemental magic coming in, so this guy can all these guys, I'm spamming these guys out, they can spam Frozen Heart, which is pretty good against Tars, so that's going to be one plan, having them here. I'm also trying to make sure I have some Sacreds in my various throne provinces. Astral Magic's okay against Tars as well, so yeah, I have an Astral Mage there. Ideally, some of these guys have damage reversal, in which case you want to have high MR. So we are going to be trying to get Enchantment 4, which will give us anti-magic. So that will be all part of our recipe. In fact, like, that's why we have this guy coming. He can't really do anything now with these pearls, but I just want to have it so when he gets here, if there's no lab or anything, we can do anti-magic to hold on to this throne if Hars start coming. So a few preparatory measures, and I think that's about it. So thank you guys. See you next time.